All right, let's get to it. It's been a minute since your boy dropped some wisdom for you. But have no fear, I'm here now. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So, tonight's topic is a man's presence has the ability to override that of a woman's. Understand something. We as men have superpower, and that is the ability to override that of a woman's power, her authority. That is because, in the most basics of biology, we as men are the leaders. We are the protectors and the providers. And with that responsibility comes our ability to establish boundaries. After all, if we're to protect, it naturally means we're to erect fences, gates, protection. It all goes hand in hand. We establish the rules, the boundaries. So naturally, if a masculine dominant presence were to show up, our aura that we project will naturally cause those to either look up to us, revere us, and perhaps even fear us. You see, fear does not have to be seen as a completely negative term. Fear just means you have reverence for that person, that authority figurehead. Because you know if you do something that they do not like, that is deemed as erroneous, you will suffer consequences. And the consequences need not be actual physical pain, perhaps even psychological. It just means they have the ability to walk away, to relieve themselves of their presence, so you probably will not see them again, be ousted. And when it comes to the female and male dynamic in a relationship, that just means the guy has the ability to dump you, to break up with you, to leave you. Now, in this day and age, you probably already know, statistics show, who initiates the breakup? More likely than not, it's the woman. Well, you have to understand, we as men, we already have this superpower within us because we were born with it. Our XY chromosome, the testosterone coursing through our veins, our body. We already embody that masculinity. It is just up to you to bring that up. It is your duty, your masculine presence, to lead, to protect, to provide. And if you are centered, naturally, the aura that you emit, I can't stress this enough, your presence alone, like perhaps the president, a CEO, a celebrity, any person that you see as a hero, as a mentor, you know when they walk into a room, on stage, when they give a speech, all eyes are on them, locked, focused, because you understand they provide a certain form of value, whether it's imparting wisdom to you, they know what they're talking about. So naturally, when you're in a relationship, you have to maintain that presence. If you're to be in the driver's seat, you have to know where you're going. Makes sense, right? You have to know your destination. Plot a course and go straight forward. Haven't you noticed? If you're with a woman, your girl, perhaps even sisters, when you try to take them to a restaurant, you already know. Don't ask them where they want to go. You have to decide. Give them a couple choices if you must. On the menu, let them order if they already know. Otherwise, chime in and go, hey, I've got some great suggestions. I'd be happy to pick some out for you. You have to understand, women want to be in the passenger seat. They want to kick back and let you take the reins, let you take control. And if you know how to take control, to take the lead, they'll trust you. They'll be more than happy to submit. See, all these key words, if you're stumbling upon this video or my channel for the first time, all these words, they might trigger something within you. Like, oh, ooh, like a cringe, like the words submit, dominant. These kinds of words make it sound like perhaps you're controlling, you're restricting their freedom. But you have to understand, if you're a centered, well-adjusted person of society, you know within yourself, you won't abuse your power. After all, you're not actually chaining them up. They have the authority, the freedom to leave, and also exit the relationship if they so choose. Here is the fine line you must tread. You never want to make a woman feel like they're imprisoned, they're locked up, suffering, stifled, suffocating. You never want to give a woman pressure to feel like they don't have the ability to actually escape, do whatever they want. They have to come to that conclusion themselves that they want to make you happy, please you, do things, or rather be deterred from doing things that will upset you. And they have to come to that conclusions naturally by themselves. And how do you do that? Well, as I've said, with your masculine presence, your authority. Here's one thing people get wrong all the time that I see. You should never be arguing with women. You never raise your voice, never yell at them. And of course, goes without saying, you should never get physical. Because when you have to resort to that, you've already lost. But you might remember my words from earlier. You have to induce fear. You might ask me, hey Urban, how the hell do you induce fear if you don't actually put them in their place, you know? Raise your voice when they mess up, when they screw up, or when they do things that you don't like. Well, think of it this way. Everyone has to go to work, go to a job. You think these people, are you acting up at work? When you know your company, your job, your supervisor, your manager, whatever the case may be, always has the ability to fire you, report you to HR, You could lose your job at any time, at any given moment. No one's really yelling at you. I mean, sure, in some cases, you may have those horrible bosses, but you know deep down, they don't really need you. They value your work that you put in. They would love if you stick around and do the job. But they know if you were to actually leave or they get rid of you, there's always someone lined up to fill in the spot. And that's how you gotta carry yourself. Yeah, sure, you love your girl. You want to spend the rest of your life with them. Have a family, raise kids. However story you want unfold to be told. But guess what? You're a man of a certain level that people look up to. You have a certain level of presence, status. You know that if someone is not about your mission, who isn't cooperating, you're ready to leave. You're ready to drop them. You should never be saying things like, I can't live without you. You're my world. I live for you. You know, anything of that sort where you put an overwhelming emphasis on this one single person. When you put all your eggs in one basket, you are destined to fail. Obviously, those who get lucky, yeah, you live happily ever after. No harm, no foul. But you have to understand, there's always a chance where you pick the rotten thing. And what happens if it does? If you do so, well, if you're not mentally prepared, if you're not even aware of the possibility, you will be completely blindsided. And guess what happens? Something worse could creep up. You could go into a spiral down depression. In the worst case scenario, you already know, and your own story. Oh, it could very well happen. I read about the stories all the time. I mean, hell, I've had some close friends and family go through some really tough times. It's real. You gotta educate yourself and prepare yourself. That is why, when they know you have the ability to simply walk away and find someone else, they will be more inclined to do things that will not transgress upon you. And that is how you lead. In history, you've seen it all. 2 ways to exert your authority: tyranny, or the other way, where everyone loves you. They simply want to follow you because they know you will lead them to glory, to salvation, whatever the case may be. They just simply want to bask in your presence. Now, tyranny gets the job done. But history shows, once they pass, once they go on, the empire, or whatever they establish, crumbles relatively quickly. The regime ends. Let's not even get that far. Sometimes they could just straight up be assassinated, killed. because people hate them. And at any chance possible of rebellion, they'll take that opportunity. One way to rule, it gets the job done, but the longevity is very short. While the other way, it's cruise control, autopilot. Your aura that's emanating, it will allow them to go, listen, I don't want to upset this guy. I know I shouldn't be doing these kind of things. And if it happens, I better do some things to make up for it. When they give you that look of disappointment, where it's like, yeah, you just walk away, that's way more powerful than if you were to start yelling, screaming, let alone physical violence, which is never condoned. So really think about this topic. Are you a man worthy of being looked up to? Do you command that presence? And if you don't, you have to understand, you were born as a man. Masculinity is already within you. You simply have to open yourself up and start projecting, radiating that presence, confidence, decisiveness. All these traits you already know. Get the job done. And that's it for tonight. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Peace.